And Sherry, one of the things that I see a lot when we go into these accounts is their lack of education on the foam. A lot of people, when this was first launched years and years ago, people were buying in on the 1/2 inch because they felt like they could buy one product to do everything. Mm-hmm. When in reality, this has specific applications. The 5mm has specific applications, but we saw a lot of this oversold in the 1/2 inch. So now there's just shelves and shelves of 1/2 inch material not getting used.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. I get calls all the time from people that have the sander that's in their cabinet, mm-hmm. and the 1/2 inch was the only thing they ever bought. The 1/2 inch is a great product, but it has a specific use on contours.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to use it on contours, you can't flat sand with it. If you start flat sanding with it, the grain recedes and it no longer becomes an aggressive product, and it'll actually polish the wood, which generally they'll step up and they'll say, oh, we'll go to a coarser grit, which doesn't work because mm-hmm. the grain is still receding. The grain, when you feel the top of the foam back abrasive, you think it's actually more aggressive than what it actually is. And that's because the grain is actually larger than what the finish mm-hmm. shows. I don't know if you have looked at how the grain relates to the finish, but like our coarse is actually a 36 grit grain, but it finishes out as a 60 grit. A lot of times that confuses people because they're thinking 36 grit, I can't use a 36 grit, but the finish is 60 grit. So it definitely, you have to relate your grits and your grades to the right application. The medium is about a 120 to 150 grit finish. The fine is 220 to 240 grit finish. Very fine, 320 to 380 grit. And super fine, 450 to 500. So you want to know what you're doing mm-hmm. and how each grain relates. On the medium, on a 1/2 inch, on crown molding, you can take out light molder marks, but you can't take out deep molder marks. You've got to go back to a conventional abrasive if they're deep. On the 5mm and very fine in the finish room, great finish on primer.
Yeah.
It's aggressive enough to give you that good cut rate, but it still recedes in enough to allow it to be a little bit softer of a cut. And it's a very clean cut and consistent cut, and that's what we like to see in the finish room.
The key there too is making sure you understand what the application is. I mean, if it's bare wood, if it's paint, if it's primer, if it's sealer, all of these different things have different applications that the different materials will work with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's very important to understand the finish, not just what the grain is on the top of the foam abrasive. So I think that's been a big part of educating our woodworkers out there and our finishers, is getting them to understand how to go through the grades.
Yep. Education's key.
The 10mm has come on really, really strong. I don't know if you've seen a lot of work with the 10mm, but it's come on really strong of late. And it's because in the medium and fine, you can actually remove or mask swirl marks from a 5-inch random orbital. If you've got swirl marks, you can take the 3x4 in either medium or fine, and you can mask those swirl marks. Makes a big difference in the finish.
Yeah, I've used a bunch of 5mm and a bunch of 1/2 on different products, but I've never used a 10. So kind of looking forward to seeing what that does later.
I love the 10mm on a shaker door. There's nothing better than dropping in on a shaker door and not having to worry about damaging the wood with the sander.
Hi, my name is Bruce Fuchs, and I'm the president of Uneeda. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like more information about the Ekasilk Plus products, its applications, or just to request a sample, please click the link below. Thanks for watching, and happy sanding.